Let's finish this series by touching on some of the little odds and ends that we've missed, and then going to the meat and taters of Google Presentations, which is the giant blue share button in the upper right corner. So some of the things that we may have missed so far were the arrange bit right here. Arranging, you can't arrange anything unless you have actually clicked on and activated an object. Then you can arrange, center things, rotate things. You can even align groups, create groups, and ungroup items together by going through that arrange piece. Instead of going like this and then holding down shift and clicking something else to group them together like that, arrange, and then you can group it, you actually can just draw a box around both of them like this with your cursor, let go, and it will grab a hold of both of the images or both of the objects. You can right click and group them together as well. You have most of the alignment options through a right click possibility as well. Now, we're going to move on to, we already did tools, we already did formatting, is just all the information across the top slides. Table, we touched on, but just remember, inserting a table, you can do this, and then after you insert the table, you would want to come back here for some of the merging cells, deleting rows kind of capabilities. Then you have the help menu up along the top. You can go to the help center provided by Google. Also, there's a Google Plus community where people can share ideas and actually help solve each other's problems in this community forum for you to use. Basically, these two things right there, Help Center and forums, are probably going to eventually get canned down into one place, the Google Plus community. Then you can report an abuse, or best of all, shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts. This brings up a quick little dialogue right here where you can learn how to do things like nudge an image 1 pixel at a time. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So you can take this image right here, and I can move it 5 or so pixels at a time by hitting left or right on my keyboard. But if I want to go 1 pixel increment at a time, you hold down shift and hit left, and it's just moving one little baby pixel at a time. Really clever, really easy to just perfectly format your images and stylize the layout of your slides with that quick little keyboard shortcut. So I highly recommend you come in here to the help keyboard shortcut and take a look at all of the different shortcuts that you can actually do within Google Presentations. As I promised though, we need to head up to the corner where the share button is. Click that and notice right away that it's identical basically to the Google Documents share options and the Google Spreadsheets and the Google Forms and all of the Googles. It's the same kind of sharing. You can see I've already shared this document with a few people, but I can also share this through email by emailing it to somebody. I can even share through Facebook or Twitter. I could, in fact, just grab that hyperlink up at the top, copy it, and paste it into an email, onto a website, or what have you, as long as this option right here is chosen. Anyone with a link can either get to it or view it. So you can change that at any time. You've already seen these things. You can see that you can change whether it's public, anyone with the link, so on and so forth. But you also can certainly add people down here at the bottom and change whether they're viewers or editors. All of this you have seen before. Just make sure that when you add people, you notify them via email. Otherwise, they may never know it's in their Google Drive. That's just a quick reminder. And the last reminder about the sharing piece is, if you want, you can add your own message and explain to people why it is you're sharing it with them. I'm going to cancel out of this and hit done and go back here, and I'm going to show you just some of the power of Google Presentations when you incorporate the sharing piece with the commenting and the collaborative piece all together. You've probably heard of web quests, and you've probably heard of group work, right? Well, if you combine the two together with Google Presentations, you get what I call a CRP, Collaborative Research Project. It's better than a collaborative research and presentation for many reasons. I think you can figure that out. But if we go into my drive here where I have CRP examples, these CRPs are just something that I dreamed up about 5 to 6 years ago and have taught all of my instructional technology students about. And so I have all these examples of all these different CRPs that instructional technology students have created, and I'm going to take you through a couple of those examples so you can see how a CRP might actually work. Here's one example of a CRP created in the students actually had to put in ISTE standards at the very top. But then under there, these are instructions. What this is the teacher actually puts together the framework, the shell, the skeleton of a presentation, and then there are embedded instructions for the students to work collaboratively together where they've been invited to the same presentation and they have to build the guts, they have to build out and put meat onto that framework or onto that presentation. So you can actually see right here, these are instructions for the students. Anything that's in red, you're supposed to fill in. In other words, the students are supposed to fill in. And if you scroll down through here, now the next slide is the teachers put the title up here, but then the students have been instructed, put the start date, end date of the Korean War, and then also put who else created it. So for instance, they have to fill this information in because the teacher started it, but then maybe Frankie, Jimmy, and Johnny are the ones that finished the presentation. Followed by, now we have information. This is all introductory material provided by the teacher so that they can see some of the key terms and key pieces at the very beginning. Right here we have key terms, but then it says feel free to add additional items to this key terms area, including images and what have you. Followed by, you have a slide that says, okay, begin listing all of the different things that happened in the war. And if they can't remember or they can't figure out places to go, there's a jumping off point down here. The teacher provided them a hyperlink at the bottom of the web slideshow right here where they can click on it and will take them to a website to help them get more ideas. Followed by, this is one of my favorites. This is that very clever, intuitive use of embedded YouTube video. So the teacher put a video in here. So now the students have to go out, watch the presentation, watch this video. It even says right here, watch this video and complete the following slide. So now they go in here and they complete this slide after they've watched the video above. Based on that video lesson, fill in this information, change the image, put in key terms, key concepts, and the like. So now you're not only providing the content for the student, you're asking them to put content, synthesize, higher order thinking, and distill the information, put it in a simple, easy to use slide. So they're learning the content, providing the content, and then they're going to come back together in a collaborative way to present this entire project at the end of the due date. So you're wrapping that web quest, the presentation, and group work all together. And my favorite part of all is come back up to that see revision history, and you can just check who did what and when. You can see all the different points where people actually began to work on this project. You can see whether Sammy actually did any work at all. You can see if all of the students actually procrastinated and waited till the last day. You can see how students progress through the project together. This again is called a CRP, Collaborative Research Project. And they're absolutely brilliant, and I highly recommend you try one in your class.